Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is a very cold day. It's about 28 or 30 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and today is going to be kind of a big day for me here. One thing I haven't touched on very much is the fact that on the house here we've got solar panels, and this year in 2024 so far we have had what I call 7 power outages. And how I define a power outage is where you lose power for more than 20 or 30 minutes at a time, versus what we call a power interruption, where the lights will just flicker for a few seconds. Those interruptions, we probably had about 15 of them this year, not counting the 7 outages that we had. And the outages, they're lasting anywhere between 30 minutes on up to as much as 8 or 10 hours. So to combat that, what we're going to do is take our solar system that we have and go ahead and add a battery backup to it. This way we can take energy that we collect in the daytime, pump it into the batteries, and then have it there for use when we're either having the interruptions or the outages. Alright, so there's a lot of information about these batteries that you need to be aware of before you go putting them in. First off, there's financially, there's state and federal tax credits that you can take advantage of, which I'm taking full advantage of on this project. The other thing is, you hear a lot about like battery fires and like some electric cars and such. So for that reason, in my mind, I don't want to put a battery inside the house in a living area or like a basement or something like that. Now, it's perfectly appropriate to put such a battery in like a garage space, which is kind of semi separated from the house. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go outside the house here and put the batteries on the this is like the northwest side of the house. We've got a wall space here that one battery is going to go into, and then another battery is going to go over here. So these are 2 10-kilowatt batteries, and I'll have more about that once we get them going. I had advanced solar out here about 9.5, 10 years ago, and I'm so happy with the job they did. They actually did very well. They accommodated all my requests and have done very, very well. So got them called back here to give us a battery this time for those power outages that we get.
Got this yeah. Let's just set this one down.
Alright, so taking a look at these Solar Edge 10 kilowatt battery packs, how they look. They've got a cover on top, but without the cover on, this is what they're going to look like. What they're done is they're fed by the photovoltaic solar system from inside the house, in this case, piped over through this conduit up through the internal part of the cover and into these 2 ports. Now, my understanding is that this is a 2-way circuit, so where it can either charge a battery up or discharge from the battery back into the house. And there's different components in here. I'm not sure what those are for. How about exactly, do you know what these things do?
Well, the switch there, that red switch there, is for the commissioning process.
Okay.
And then the breakers as well. That all comes into play with the commissioning.
These are the breakers here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, those are just left on. You never mess with them, but you do need to fiddle with them a little bit when it comes to commissioning the whole system.
Let me just do a little intro. Okay, so for this part of the project, what we're doing is getting an overview of how the inverters and the panels on the electrical supply are hooked in. Steve's gonna from Advanced Solar is going to walk me through this, but
Right.
maybe just start here. We got the solar circuit coming in.
So we'll
right?
start from the roof. The roof, it comes down. It's still in DC. If you look underneath, there's a T-body conduit. It hits the backside of there with a few strings from the roof, all DC. This raceway as well, that will be all DC. And then these here, these inverters, is what converts it over to DC, to AC. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the reason we're splitting off into two different types of inverter boxes is because this is an older one. This is the new technology, but you're able to share the load, so to speak.
Yeah, well, not necessarily just for old and new, but for the spacing. This one, for instance, comes equipped for 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put up to 4 strings of your PV on this, but since you have a magnitude of panels on your roof, that's why it's necessary to have 2 inverters.
Yeah, I think we have 71 total panels, 280s, 290s.
That's probably the most on the house I've ever heard.
Okay, yep. All right, so you got the solars coming in, feeding these two guys, and then this line's going out, I think you were telling me, Steve, to the...
This will be what's feeding the battery.
Okay.
This is all the battery that goes out, and then we can give a tutorial tomorrow on as far as the way the functioning from A to B. And
Okay, yeah, how that plays.
yeah, so
All right. So that leaves us with this line going out, and I think that would be an AC line going out?
that's
you were
correct.
saying? Yep.
That's what will be feeding the inverter. And then we will have another raceway to come out the bottom into here, which would be AC as well, which will
Okay.
feed this inverter.
All right, cool. And then the rest of that AC line will go over and feed the
That's
electrical panels, right?
Well, it's going to be fed from what's called the interface here. There'll be 2 breakers here, one pertaining to each inverter, and then out of here, I'm going to get a pipe over to this guy here, which will, right now, this is his backup panel. Right now, it's
Critical
not.
circuit load, yeah.
That's correct. And it's not currently in backup mode because I eliminated a generator outlet, which would have been backfeeding it. Now with the battery application, we had to do some rerouting, and this is just a cosmetic eyesore. This is all just temped out
Right, yeah,
temporarily.
we get it. And you were telling me a moment ago, Steve, that this is basically an automatic transfer switch also, right?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, super. And then, so coming out of the transfer switch from the solar AC that's going in, where is that guy going?
This one here,
Yeah.
this is going out to a disconnect outside.
Oh, safety disconnect?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
And it's coming back inside into your fuse disconnect. And if you look underneath here, that's essentially where I'll be making my taps at that will feed everything.
Okay,
All
gotcha.
AC related.
And we have two 200 amp circuit.
You have
or-
200 amp electrical panels.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
with a sub panel that we call our critical loads over there. Okay. Yeah, that's the part I don't get, how that kind of stems off of this. How is that being fed? Oh, I guess it comes off of the...
No, it's going right off this 2-pole 100
Oh,
right
okay.
to this 2-pole 100.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. So just to recap on the solar project that I have, I wanted to add a battery to my system because a lot of folks do not realize that when you have a solar collection system, you are entirely dependent on the grid to take advantage of that. I'll give you an example. So if the power goes down in an outage situation where the utility provider is the connection is down for whatever amount of time, 4 hours, 6 hours, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, your solar panels are not utilizing any of that power. They're just sitting there dead, and because they're not able to pump those electrical kilowatts back into the grid, you're not able to use them. So what a battery system does, it allows you to collect that solar energy and not only use it in the house on your circuits, but also any excess that you have, recharge your battery, and by the way, have a battery there for you to use power on as well. So just to recap, what we have is I had 2 inverters here. Originally they were both in this style here. These are the older style inverters where they're collecting energy. This one has about 29 panels, the other one had about 40 or so on. And what they had to do is they had to replace the one inverter to this new technology they call HD Wave, which basically allows it to take power from the solar panels and pump it into the battery and have it there that way. So they had to run
all these new lines from both inverters into what they call an automatic transfer switch. This automatic transfer switch here can sense if the utility is up or down. In the case of the utility being down, the first thing it's going to do is say, hey, I'm out of power, let me feed you from the batteries. And when we did the test, there was no, like, even an interruption. It was just totally seamless. So I very much like that. Just to take a look at the panels I have two 200 amp panels here, and I can't, you know, the batteries are not set up so that they can run everything, but I can run what I call key circuits off of this, or critical circuits. And I have things on there like my well pump that gives me water, key lights all around the house, also the furnace. Now I have an oil fired furnace, so the load on that furnace is not so much on the electrical side, it's on the oil side of it, so I'm able to do that. Now in the summertime, air conditioning, that's not going to work because that would be a much higher load. Or it would work, but you can't get the duration out of it that you might expect. But no, I'm very happy with the system that they put in. There was a lot of extra rewiring here that had to be done. You know, as a consumer, I thought, hey, I already have solar panels in my home, but it would be maybe a day or two to get this all rebalanced and configured. But it actually took 2 technicians from my solar company to be out here for about the better part of 4 or 5 days to get all this set up and get the inspector out and get everything approved. All the labeling was done. But in the end, I'm very happy that it's done now, because, you know, when I get outages, and as I said before, I've had about 7 outages this year so far, which is unusually high, okay, granted, but those outages were anywhere from, you know, 2, 3, 4 hours all the way up to almost 24 hours this year. So, you know, I want a way to, while those outages are occurring, to utilize my solar panels and have it feed the house. And in this case, not just do that, but also feed that battery that we have on the outside. Okay, well, hopefully that answers some questions that some people might have about you know, adding a battery to an existing solar panel system that you may have. And you know, in hindsight, you know, it was not cheap, but with all the state and federal incentives there are out there, the cost was taken down about half, you know, from what the original cost was. So I was able to take advantage of that too. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.